Saludos desde la computadora. Greetings from my computer. Gracias por la invitación a la Asamblea 2020. Thank you for the invitation to Assembly 2020. Congratulations to all their organizers. And thank you all for clicking and being here with us today. Y gracias a todos por darle clic y estar aquí con nosotros hoy. True confessions, I wish I were at St. Mary's looking for a parking space. Me encantaría estar en St. Mary's buscando un lugar donde estacionarme like every other year. But here we are. No matter what, we're still called to reflect, to gather, and to ponder what it means to be a community in the city of San Antonio. Aún así, somos invitados a reunirnos y a ver lo que significa ser comunidad en la ciudad de San Antonio. Thank you, Archbishop, for your words earlier. Gracias, Arzobispo Gustavo, por sus palabras. We have been called to live through very interesting times. The last week, the last year, esta última semana, este último año, call us to faithful citizenship. Nos llaman a ser ciudadanos fieles. So despite everything that has happened, a pesar de todo lo que ha estado sucediendo, de esta pandemia, this pandemic, True Confessions, this song keeps playing in my head, the Lord of the Dance. El canto, el Señor de la Danza, ha estado una y otra vez tocando adentro de mi cabeza. Y sobre todo las palabras de que yo los voy a guiar en la danza, especially the words, I will guide you in the dance. Today, I want us to reflect about what it means to be called to this dance of discipleship. Hoy quiero invitarlas a reflexionar qué significa ser llamados a este baile, a esta danza del discipulado. So let's ponder on the words of the song just because I want to share it with you all.
Dance, and wherever you may be, I am the Lord of the dance, said he, and I'll lead you all, wherever you may be, and I'll lead you all in the dance, said he.
Ese canto, los voy a guiar en la danza, en donde quiera que estén, wherever you may be. De alguna manera es la invitación que les quiero hacer esta mañana. This is the invitation I want to make all of us this morning, that we are truly called to the dance of discipleship. Somos llamados a la danza del discipulado. No matter what, despite everything, we are called to dance as we are, where we are, because we are people of faith, and because faith can lead us to hope and to compassion. Bailar como estamos en donde estemos, sea lo que sea, porque nuestra fe nos lleva a la esperanza y nuestra fe nos lleva a la compasión. Como arquidiócesis hemos estado en un camino. As an archdiocese, we have been on a journey. Ha sido un camino de 3 años, un camino que creo es importante recordar también este día. Let us remember this journey. We have been called to encuentro. We have been called to accompaniment. We are now called to discipleship. All of this because we are called to build a Catholic culture of encuentro, accompaniment, and discipleship. And today, Assembly is a movement. It's part of this movement. Encuentro leads to accompaniment, and accompaniment leads to discipulado, and then on and on and on. El encuentro nos lleva a el acompañamiento al discipulado, y sigue este movimiento. This is the invitation we have received from our Archbishop, from the people that collaborate in the Archdiocese, for all of us in this community, para todos nosotros en nuestra comunidad. Y de alguna manera, hoy, vamos a concentrarnos en discipulado. We are going to be reflecting on discipleship. But there can be no discipleship without accompaniment. No puede haber discipulado sin acompañamiento. And there can be no accompaniment without encuentro. No puede haber acompañamiento sin encuentro. So we need to consider how all three are constantly interacting. Los tres están siempre interactuando. Let us consider 2 gospel stories. Consideremos 2 eventos en el Evangelio. The first one is Jesus and the Samaritan woman. Jesús y la mujer samaritana. We know that in that story, Jesus encounters the Samaritan woman, or the Samaritan woman encounters Jesus. Se encuentran los dos first. Then they accompany one another in a beautiful conversation. Se acompañan en una conversación. They listen, they speak. And finally, the Samaritan woman is sent joyfully to spread the good news. Y finalmente, la samaritana es enviada llena de alegría a compartir. He encontrado al Mesías, al Señor. Another story that we should ponder on is the road to Emmaus. Tenemos que considerar el camino a Emmaús. De misma manera, encontramos ese movimiento. Jesús se acerca, hay un encuentro, hay una conversación, acompañamiento y luego discipulado. Jesus encounters the disciples. There's an accompaniment, a conversation. And then there's a discipleship. Then they're sent. Something is burning within us. So the three are connected. Our assembly invitation to build this Catholic culture is connected. And discipleship is the final piece of reflection. Todo está conectado y el discipulado es esta última parte de esta reflexión para construir esta cultura. So we are indeed called to the dance of discipleship. Somos llamados a la danza del discipulado because we have come to encounter, because we believe in accompaniment. I want to go back to this and reflect with this today with all of us. Quiero regresar a esta idea del baile y reflexionar con este tema con todos nosotros. El discipulado es como una danza. Discipleship is like a dance. No es algo que se pueda aprender sentado, ni con un libro, y difícilmente con un video de YouTube. It's not something you can learn sitting down or with a book, and it's hard with YouTube. You have to learn to dance by dancing. Se necesita aprender a bailar bailando. You always need someone to show you the moves. And you have to start slow. Hay que empezar despacito. You can't start by being a professional dancer. But you also need to feel the music. No se empieza siendo un bailarín profesional. Hay que escuchar, sentir la música. You need to be able to feel it within you, to be able to catch the rhythm, to catch the pace, to flow with it. Hay que escuchar, sentir el ritmo para poder entrar en esa pausa, para fluir con la música. Discipleship is like that. Así es el discipulado. You start one step at a time. You gradually catch the rhythm. And then you move to that music, to that inner music of your soul. El discipulado es así, un paso a la vez, aprendiendo a captar el ritmo y gradualmente entras a este ritmo de la música que escuchas en tu alma. And so discipleship is like dancing. El discipulado es como bailar. Let's think about it. You learn by doing. Se aprende haciendo. You need to listen to the music, to the rhythm. Hay que escuchar la música, el ritmo. You need to try over and over again. Se tiene que intentar una y otra vez. And there are many ways to dance. Slow and fast, or with lots of people or a few. Hay muchas maneras de bailar. Despacio o rápido, con mucha gente, con poca. And you need to enjoy it. Y necesitas disfrutarlo. I am a really bad dancer, really bad. But I grew up with a mother who loves to dance. And I've learned a lot of things from my mom. One night, it was very late, and 2 houses down, they were having a big party. Hace muchos años, era muy noche, y a 2 casas había un fiestón. And I was very upset because I couldn't sleep. Y yo estaba bien enojada porque no podía dormir. I came out of my room and there's my mom dancing. Con el apagón, ¿qué cosa sucede? And there's my mother dancing, bailando. Le digo, mamá, ¿qué estás haciendo? What are you doing? Dice, Tere, La música estaba tan buena que es mejor bailo. The music was so good, I'd rather dance. That's what discipleship is like. You catch that music that is Jesus Christ, the music of the gospel, and you can't help it. You have to dance. You can't help it. No puedes evitarlo. Hay que bailar. So again, let's go back to that music that's been playing in my head.
Dance and wherever you may be, I am the Lord of the dance set feet, and I'll lead you all wherever you may be, and I'll lead you all in the dance set feet.
We have to remember that the Lord of the dance is leading. Tenemos que acordarnos que el Señor de la danza nos está guiando, wherever you may be, en donde sea que estés. Así que el primer paso es llegar a la danza. The first step is to come to the dance. Showing up, coming to encuentro is critical. The willingness to enter into this. Llegar al encuentro es crítico. El deseo de entrar en esa danza. But then listening to the mood, to the tone, to the rhythm. Discipleship requires prayer. And not prayer where we talk and talk and talk, but prayer where we listen deeply, where we really are aware and we're noticing, we're listening that rhythm and the tone of the music. Consider the dance of light and how you turn to it. Así que primero hay que escuchar, hay que abrirnos a notar, a poner atención, a ver el tono y el sentimiento de la música. El discipulado, por lo tanto, necesita oración, una actitud de escucha profunda, es una conversión. Imaginen de alguna manera cómo es esa danza de las luces. Think of the dance of light or any movement. How important it is to be able to catch it, to look, to contemplate, to listen. Prayer is critical. La oración es esencial para poder notar cómo fluye el Espíritu entre nosotros. How the Spirit flows among us. ¿A qué nos está invitando? ¿A qué ritmo? ¿Con qué paso? What is the Spirit inviting us to? What rhythm? What step? Segundo, el discipulado necesita comunidad. Second, discipleship needs community. In order to learn the dance, you need other people. Para poder bailar se necesitan otras personas. You need to follow their step. You need to kind of stand next to them. Pienso en Caballo Dorado, que para acá y para acá y para acá y para acá. Yo nunca lo podría bailar sola. Necesito estar siguiendo a alguien y aún así me equivoco. Think about how community is essential for discipleship. It's easier. You learn from others. You catch new rhythms. You learn new steps. You enjoy it more. Community is critical to discipleship. La comunidad es crítica para el discipulado. Aprendes de los otros, aprendes nuevos pasos, otros bailes, otros tonos, and you enjoy yourself y lo disfrutas. En este tiempo de pandemia, a pesar de que estamos separados, hemos tratado de hacer muchas cosas juntos. This pandemic time, even though we've been separate, we've been trying to do a lot of things together. Just remember all the music we have been hearing online, all those people that sang in this choir, We Never Walk Alone, and then created a composition, and we all enjoyed it. We entered into a community of discipleship. Y también lo hicimos en español. Muchas personas que cantaron, que después hicieron toda una maniobra para que los oyéramos al mismo tiempo, y todos hemos disfrutado eso muchísimo, porque hemos reconocido en este tiempo de pandemia cuánto se necesita una comunidad. And third, discipleship needs discipline. The word discipleship and disciple and discipline come from the same root. Discipulado necesita disciplina. La palabra discipulado, discípulo, disciplina tienen la misma raíz. And discipline is important to discipleship. We need to practice. We need to learn. We need to be open to formation. We need to be willing to expand our heart and our minds. That's why we need ongoing formation. That's why we have assembly. Y se necesita practicar, aprender, se necesita formación. Tenemos que tener la disposición de expandir nuestro corazón y nuestra mente. Por eso tenemos asamblea. That's why we gather. So together we enter into this discipleship, this discipline of formation, esta disciplina de formación. And it's important that we understand that we're constantly learning something new. No one of us is an expert. There's always something we hear in a homily, we hear or we read in a book, maybe a podcast now or online. Siempre hay algo nuevo que aprender. Hay cosas que escuchamos en un podcast, en una homilía, ahora en línea, pero hay que estar dispuestos a ese camino continuo. Discipleship needs discipline. It needs formation. El discipulado necesita formación, necesita disciplina. And you can always learn a new dance. There's so many dances to learn. So discipleship is like a dance. You learn one and then another, or maybe you get better and better and better at some, but you got to practice. You got to enter into the community of discipleship. Imagine how you get from this to this. It takes time. It takes time. And it takes community. So in many different ways, we have to remember that this discipleship dance requires prayer, discernment, listening to the music, to the rhythm, to the tone, to the feeling. Se necesita discernimiento, escucha, oración, escuchar el tono, la emoción, el ritmo. Discipleship needs community. Se necesita comunidad. And discipleship needs discipline, formation, practice, learning. El discipulado necesita disciplina, formación, practicar, aprender. There's a movement that happens in it. And at this point in our lives, with everything that's going on in our community here in San Antonio, we need to be teaching each other new steps. We need to be inviting each other to the dance. We need to be listening deeply to the music that God is playing at the heart of our soul, of our community, so we can dance to the tune of Jesus, the Lord of the dance. Necesitamos en este momento de pandemia, la capacidad de entrar en esta danza de discipulado, la capacidad de escuchar la música que está tocando. Jesús la sigue tocando en medio de nuestro corazón, de nuestra comunidad. Tenemos que invitar a otros a la danza. Tenemos que entrar en esta disciplina, que bailar ese ritmo, porque el Señor de la danza sigue invitándonos a bailar, a construir una comunidad como Dios la quiere. God continues to invite us to this dance, to build this community the way God wants it. So again, let us listen to that stanza.
Dance and wherever you may be, I am the Lord of the dance, said he, and I'll lead you all wherever you may be, and I'll lead you all in the dance, said he.
Baila entonces donde quiera que estés. Soy el Señor de la danza, dijo él, y los guiaré a todos, todas, donde quiera que estén, y los guiaré en la danza, dijo él. We are called to the dance of discipleship. Somos llamados a la danza del discipulado. I think because we've called to build a Catholic culture of encuentro, accompaniment, discipleship, porque somos llamados a construir una cultura de encuentro, acompañamiento, discipulado, les voy a compartir lo que mi amiga Mercedes Casas, una hermana del Espíritu Santo, llama la triple A de la cultura del encuentro. I'm going to share what Sister Mercedes Casas calls the triple A of the culture of encounter. And I do so that we remember that you can't be a disciple without accompaniment and without encounter, but all three are constantly in movement. The Christian life is a call to movement, to journey, to pilgrimage. Y se los comparto porque es importante que reconozcamos que nada sucede sin lo otro. Siempre hay un movimiento del encuentro, al acompañamiento, al discipulado, porque la vida cristiana es movimiento, es una peregrinación continua. Y entonces, esta cultura del encuentro, nos dice la hermana Mercedes, primero empieza con la primera A, acoger. It begins with the first letter A in Spanish, to welcome. To welcome. Then to accompany, acompañar. And then animar, animate, or to encourage. And that's how we become missionary disciples, discípulos misioneros. We're constantly being called and sent, welcomed, accompanied, and then encouraged to go forth. Siempre somos acogidos, acompañados y luego animados a ir hacia adelante. Ese movimiento constante al que nos está invitando nuestra fe, el proceso del quinto encuentro, nuestra asamblea diocesana, es una danza continua. This process that our faith is always inviting us to enter into this dance, to journey with others. Same process as the quinto encuentro, a process for all of us. Is part of our assembly process as well, and it's so needed in the city of San Antonio. So the culture of encuentro, the accompaniment, create ambiente. La cultura del encuentro, de acompañamiento, crea un ambiente, this environment for discipleship, el ambiente para discipulado. We have to be a welcoming community. Tenemos que ser comunidades que acogen. That is what Catholic means. All are welcome. It's not just universal. Kata olos means all are welcome. Eso es lo que significa católico, no solamente universal. Kata olos del griego significa todos, todas son bienvenidos, bienvenidas. Y entonces, si no creamos esta cultura, esta triple A de acoger, acompañar, animar, if we don't create this triple A of welcoming, accompanying, encouraging, we don't create a ambiente for the dance. No creamos el ambiente para la danza. No hay fiesta. There's no fiesta. It's not contagious. No one wants to come. It's a boring fiesta. People leave. Es una fiesta aburrida. Nadie quiere venir. Se van. So in this regard, you have to remember that there's constant movement, that we are called to create ambiente. Somos llamados a crear ambiente, a crear fiesta. Yes, even in difficult times like these. Yes, even when we're divided and polarized, sometimes in our own families. Aún en estos tiempos, en tiempos difíciles, cuando estamos divididos y polarizados, aún dentro de nuestras familias, pero como sea hay que crear un ambiente de acogida, a la diferencia, a las diferencias de opinión, a ser discípulos misioneros en este baile del seguimiento del discipulado, al que somos llamados todos, to be missionary disciples in this dance to which we all are called. It is constant movement that we're invited to lead. Hay un movimiento constante que estamos invitados a ver. Movement that plays, that light, that shows life. Movimiento que juega, que muestra la vida, that invites to the dance. So let us consider one more time with the Lord of the dance. What is the ambiente in our parish, in our diocese, in our communities, in our families? ¿Cómo está el ambiente en este momento en nuestra parroquia, en la diócesis, en nuestras familias? And what are we called to do? How do we call one another to listen to the music and then invite one another to the dance? ¿Cómo nos invitamos unos a otros a escuchar la música, a invitarnos unos a otros a la danza? And again, let us listen to the music.
Dance and wherever you may be, I am the Lord of the dance set free, and I'll lead you all wherever you may be, and I'll lead you all in the dance set free.
Baila entonces, donde quiera que estés, soy el Señor de la danza, dijo él, y los guiaré a todos, donde quiera que estén, y los guiaré en la danza, dijo él. We are called to the dance of discipleship. Somos llamados a la danza del discipulado. I want to finish this reflection with a quote from a friend of mine, a Belgian-Peruvian theologian. Quiero terminar esta reflexión con una cita de un amigo mío, un teólogo belga-peruano, el benedictino Simón Pedro Arnold. Benedictine priest Simón Pedro Arnold. He says we have to stop talking about following Jesus, and we need to talk about accompanying Jesus. We need to talk about dancing to Jesus's rhythm. Él dice que tenemos que dejar de hablar del seguimiento de Jesús y más bien tenemos que hablar del acompañamiento a Jesús, que tenemos que aprender a bailar al ritmo de Jesús. So let me share Simon's quote about dancing. Les voy a compartir la cita de Simón Pedro sobre bailar. Here's what he has to say. Aquí está lo que dice. First in English, then in Spanish. Life is a most beautiful and demanding school of dance. There is nothing to hold on to, nothing to grasp. We will only be saved by the art of free movement. We need to move our hips around the living spinal column of the church, the cross of Jesus Christ. How do we return to a Christ always in movement, the one who walks on the dusty roads of Galilee near the raging waters of the lake and dances in the wedding at Cana? In a certain way, we must be initiated into a choreographic discipleship, where we are not about imitating or catching up with Christ in an effort of will, but we grow into his rhythm and compass. I love this, a choreographic discipleship where we grow into Christ's rhythm and compass. Y ahora en español. La vida es una bellísima y exigente escuela de danza. No hay nada que agarrar ni de dónde agarrarse. Solo nos salvará el arte de movernos libremente, mover la cintura de la iglesia alrededor de la columna vertebral viva, la cruz de Jesucristo. ¿Cómo pasar al Cristo en movimiento, aquel que anda por los caminos polvorientos de Galilea, por las aguas enfurecidas del lago y danza en las bodas de Caná? De cierta manera, debemos iniciarnos en un nuevo discipulado coreográfico, donde ya no nos toque imitar o alcanzar a Cristo en un esfuerzo voluntarista, sino agarrarle el ritmo y el compás. Me encanta esto, un discipulado coreográfico, donde nos toca agarrarle el ritmo y el compás a Cristo. Hermanos, hermanas de la Arquidiócesis de San Antonio, brothers and sisters of the Archdiocese of San Antonio, all of us, the Archbishop, the bishop, priest, religious, lay, men and women, all of us. Todos nosotros, el arzobispo, el obispo, nuestros sacerdotes, religiosos, religiosas, laicos y laicas, todos necesitamos entrar a este discipulado coreográfico. We all need to enter into this choreographic discipleship because we have to, porque tenemos que hacerlo, because we believe and because we have hope that Jesus is with us, teaching us, leading us in the dance. Porque creemos que Jesús está con nosotros, con nosotras, guiando la danza, enseñándonos la danza, and teaching us new dances, y enseñándonos nuevas danzas. We need to practice a few new moves with what lies ahead. Necesitamos practicar unos movimientos nuevos con lo que viene adelante. So thank you. Gracias. Because even with the pandemic, even with our politics, you will continue to dance. Gracias, porque a pesar de la pandemia y la política, vamos a volver a bailar. Discipleship is a dance that needs encuentro and accompaniment. Then you get fiesta. El discipulado es una danza que necesita encuentro y acompañamiento. Y luego acabamos en la fiesta. Muchas gracias. Dios los bendiga. Y a bailar. Thank you very much. May God bless you. It's time to dance.